Just one day after a UK judge rejected extraditing Julian Assange, we talked about this yesterday on the show, to the United States, the president of Mexico jumped into the conversation saying that he's willing to offer the WikiLeaks founder asylum in Mexico. In an article for The Hill, the Mexican president said, quote, "Assange is a journalist and deserves a chance. I am in favor of pardoning him." And joining us now to talk about this is former DEA Special Ops agent Derek Maltz. Derek, welcome into Wake Up America.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well. Happy New Year to you, sir. We appreciate you being with us. The president of Mexico is and has been for years and years, generations, very soft on crime, drug cartels, criminals. It's been this way for a long time in Mexico. Were you surprised by this offer, which really came out of nowhere?
Well, just look what's happening in Mexico with the murders and the drug cartels, and look how the government of Mexico is protecting the highest levels of the Sinaloa cartel, the Jalisco cartel. So to protect Julian Assange is no surprise. I mean, nobody should be surprised. We have a socialist cheerleader for crime, and that's just the way it is in Mexico. And that's why we have an unprecedented national security crisis on our southern border. I mean, Rob, Americans don't realize how China is now like lethal partners with the Mexican cartels, sending in the most lethal synthetic chemicals we've ever had come into our country. That's why the CDC just put out statistics with 81,000 people died in a 12-month period ending May of 2020, 221 people a day. And then if you look at what's happening in Mexico, it's a disaster. So no, I'm not surprised at all, but we need to step up the game and do something about it.
Derek, talk about that for a minute. I don't think a lot of people know about China's involvement in Mexico and sort of helping them to hurt us.
Well, just let's put it this way. The relationship between China and the cartels is nothing new. They've been providing chemicals forever to the cartels to produce this very lethal and very pure methamphetamine. But now it's the synthetic drugs of fentanyl. 1 kilogram of fentanyl can kill 500,000 people. That's why you see so many Americans dying. They're not only involved with that, they took over the money laundering services business for the Mexican cartels. But Rob, if you look at what happened recently, it's disgusting. I mean, the U.S. government did a high-level indictment on the former Secretary of the Army, Cienfuegos, and they had him in custody in Los Angeles, right? It was indictment out of New York. But then all of a sudden, when the Mexican government realized, oh, my God, we've been exposed, they cut a deal. They sent them back to Mexico. Now they go ahead and take advantage of the U.S. vulnerability right now because of the election. And they signed this new law that requires the DEA and the other foreign agents in Mexico to report everything through a political bureaucratic office called the SRE. Right. That's a absolutely recipe for disaster. We're going to have informants killed. We're going to have agents, lives at risk. And the bottom line is the only ones who win from that new law are the Chinese, right, which is a big adversary, right, the Mexican cartels and the corrupt Mexican government.
Yeah, and it continues to hurt the American people. Back to Julian Assange. A lot of people probably forget this story, but are familiar with the name. 2010, so it's been a decade. WikiLeaks, that whole saga. Do you think first Assange will take Mexico up on their offer? And then if he does, what actually has to happen in order to get him to Mexico?
Well, look, there's obviously a lot of politics behind this. I know the U.S. government would certainly be looking at the Meritor Initiative and the Brownsville letter, because the U.S. has put so much money into helping build Mexico's infrastructure to go after crime. The U.S. spent billions down there. So there's going to be a big review with the State Department, and it would be a very, very bad decision by London to send this guy back to Mexico. We'll see what happens. But again, it's a very serious indictment. You're talking about violations of the Espionage Act, right? So you have like serious breach of security with the Pentagon computers. And so I just don't see it happening. But if it does, then it's obviously a signal, the direction that we're heading with Mexico. And, in the future, we're going to have to be way more aggressive.
Derek, we got about 15 seconds left. We're heading into the top of the hour here. But I did want to ask you about this. In Joe Biden's America, what happens along the U.S.-Mexican border?
Well, look, they're talking about open borders, which is a train wreck for America, because we already have crime escalate in every city. If you look at the stats, it's absolutely crazy to see the amount of murders in all of these Democratic-run cities. Now to have all these illegals and all these special interest aliens from all these countries around the world to come into to America, that's just something I don't even want to accept and believe will happen.
15 days away from Inauguration Day. That is Derek Maltz. Thanks so much, sir. We appreciate it.